So one of the things that I've started to see this year, but I'm getting a lot of calls about foreclosure. And this is something that I think we're all going to see increase significantly, especially over this first quarter. But if you've been struggling with your mortgage, and I understand, due to COVID, and there's lots of reasons why you could be behind on your mortgage, unfortunately, all of the resources pretty much ended end of December in terms of programs they're going to have for helping people the way they should help people. I will tell you, as a bankruptcy attorney, I have not seen too many people actually receiving the help that was promised. That's a whole other video. But anyway, it is what it is. And what we are starting to see is folks who have been in forbearance, the forbearance is over, and the moratorium on foreclosures is now over since December 31st has passed. And so a lot of lenders are now ramping it up. Folks that did apply for a forbearance, they did everything they were supposed to do. And before the forbearance ended, they did their application, submitted it, and they're getting these responses. I'm seeing this, and I've seen it from lots of different lenders. It's not just one lender, but I'm seeing this response letter that says, well, we can't actually modify your loan, but here are your other options. And the options are a deed in lieu, which means you're signing your home back to the lender. They put short sale, which I don't know anybody that has a short sale these days because of the property values, but they've got it in their little packet. Then the other option is to sell their home, and then to a third party, whatever. None of these options are options that most of my clients want to pursue. I would say 99.9% of the folks I'm talking to want to save their homes. They need to save their homes for them, their families, whatnot, and so it's obviously distressing to a lot of folks because they were made all these promises and it's just not panning out. So what I wanted to talk about today was foreclosure in Georgia. What should you do if you get that scary foreclosure notice, and what not to do as well, and I've done several videos over the years about foreclosure, but this is a little bit different because we're coming out of this whole the COVID relief that's been available for a couple of years. So now we're seeing folks, I'm talking to people that they have not made a mortgage payment for 24 months. That's 2 years worth of mortgage payments, because they were thinking they'd be able to get it modified, put on the end of their loan, and it is not happening. So if you get sticker shock, if they're like, oh, by the way, you need to write us a check for $30,000 and you don't have $30,000, what do you do? So what you can do is, if you get the notice that you have a foreclosure from the lender, the first thing you want to do, of course, is review it, make sure that it's correct, and then if you have not already asked for some kind of relief, like a loan modification, some kind of payment plan, if you've got some money, you just need a little bit of time to catch up, now is the time you need to reach out to them. Unfortunately, you should have reached out to them before you got the actual foreclosure notice, because they would have been sending you delinquency notices. The lenders are great about using the mail to send you tons and tons of notices, but if you have not at this point, you need to do it now. Now, is it going to stop the foreclosure? Probably not. They'll probably tell you, well, we can take the application, but we already started the foreclosure process. Calling the attorney that's doing the foreclosure is usually a pretty worthless use of your time, because they're just the hired gun. They take their orders from your lender. So if the lender sends them a file and says foreclose on this case, or on this house, and until they get word otherwise, that's what they're going to do. So be talking to your lender if you get that foreclosure notice. See if you can get something worked out. But if you can't, don't think that the foreclosure is just going to get pushed off. It doesn't. Here in Georgia, we are a non-judicial foreclosure state. There is no court hearing to sell your home. So when you get that letter, oh, and by the way, don't hide from the letters. Some folks think if they don't accept the certified mail, then they're good, they're clear. No, don't do that. They'll still go ahead with foreclosure. And sticking your head in the sand is not going to be helpful in a situation like this. And some people, I guess, they think they're cute and they can game the system. You can't. They'll win, I promise. So you have to address this situation head on. And if you're behind, you also need to ask yourself, hey, can I afford my normal monthly payments if I can get this foreclosure stopped and get back on track? Because if you can't afford your normal monthly payments, then you shouldn't file a bankruptcy, because that's not going to help you. Because bankruptcy, it will let us stop the foreclosure. But once we file the bankruptcy, you have to resume making your normal monthly payments. So if you can't make your normal monthly payments, then there's really no point in filing a bankruptcy to stop the foreclosure. At that point, if you can't afford the house, yes, you probably need to let it go, sell it, do something, but you can't afford it. And that it is what it is. But if you're one of these people that, you just had stuff happen, but you can afford your payment going forward, you just can't afford to pay that big arrearage payment, then listen up, because here's what you can do. You're going to get the foreclosure notice. And yes, they will advertise your property for 30 days in the legal organ of whatever community you live in. So if you live in a big community, probably not a big deal. A lot of people don't even read the newspapers. If you live in small communities, yes, that stinks, because my hometown, I know everybody goes and reads that. So it just depends on where you live. But they do legally, to comply with the foreclosure statute here in Georgia, they do have to advertise that for 30 days. So they're going to advertise it for 30 days. And then in the letter that you receive telling you they were going to do this, they give you a date. And that date is going to be the first Tuesday of whatever month they've got you scheduled for. And that is the foreclosure date. They're not joking. They're not kidding. If you don't do anything, they will auction your property off. And after they auction the property off, they'll send you a notice. And if you don't leave, they'll evict you. So that is a drop dead deadline. Okay. So it's not flexible. And a lot of people will call me and they're like, well, can I ask them I'm going to sell it, but can I push it off like another week? You can talk to your lender. Probably not going to do that. But then if they do say they're going to do that, you would want to have that in writing, because here's another thing about Georgia. Georgia does not have a right of redemption. And that means there are some states that even if they foreclose on your property, you actually have a period of time where you can get the property back. That's the redemption period. Georgia does not have that. So when they auction your property at the courthouse steps on that first Tuesday, starts at 10 a.m., when they sell your property, it is gone. So if you have not filed bankruptcy to stop the sale, then property's gone. And at that point, you need to be boxing your stuff up and moving, because that's it. Now, other thing you need to be very, very aware of is when there's blood in the water, the sharks come out. And these sharks, most of the time, are investors. They're also, sometimes you'll get them from attorneys that will, say, well, we've looked at your loan and you could possibly fight this because there was something that wasn't notarized properly, or there's no, the chain of possession of the title. There's all kinds of this legal jargon. And yes, there have been cases, very, very few cases, where that has actually been able to stop a sale. Personally, and I've been doing this 20 years, I've only seen that happen like twice. And it was like really blatant. And for most folks, if you're and then they want you to pay them to do this legal analysis, then they'll file an injunction to stop the foreclosure sale. Most of the time it's crap, and it's not going to help you. And then you're out another $2,000, $3,000. Usually these guys want up front. That's a lot of money up front when you've not been paying on your mortgage. And that's just poof, gone in the air. And at the end of the day, you still have a foreclosure scheduled. So you need to be very, very wary when you start getting all these great offers that they can stop the foreclosure by filing an injunction and doing this and doing that. And I'm not saying that some of them can't. Maybe, but I rarely see that. And most of the folks I talk to have paid these people end up still coming to me to file bankruptcy. If they've not, lost their property because they relied on someone's incorrect advice, let me put it that way. So you really you need to sit down, and this is an emotional process, right? I mean, foreclosure is scary. But you've got, when folks call me, and I get a lot of really panicked phone calls. I get panicked phone calls the day before foreclosure, and guess what? I can actually still stop the foreclosure sale the day before foreclosure. So the first thing I always like to tell folks when they call me, because I get some major anxiety calls, is calm down. We can stop the sale. So I don't want you to worry that you're going to lose your house, because you're not going to lose your house. We can get all of this filed. So I can do an emergency filing as long as I file this before that sale date, 10 a.m. Tuesday, first Tuesday of the month. As long as I can get you a case number, you'll be okay. All right. So I do deal with a lot of folks that are in a panic situation. And a lot of these folks, it's not that they were putting their head in their sand. They have relied on some third party that told them they were going to do this, they were going to do that, they were going to work everything out. And then the last minute, like literally the day before, they get that phone call like, yeah, we couldn't get that worked out. And they're still going to sell your house. And some people just give up. They don't know about bankruptcy, and they just give up. And it's really sad. Or they just sign over their property to some investor. Because a lot of these folks will say, well, I can't help you, but I know this person, and you can at least sign, they'll buy your property, you can sign it and whatever. Don't get suckered in by something like that. You have to have, when you're looking at something like this, you have to look at it logically, and you've got to pull a lot of the emotion out, because people, of course, it's your home, it's emotional, but you have to then say, okay, I'm in damage control mode. How am I going to fix this? And if you can't afford to make your normal monthly mortgage payment, 99 times out of 100, there's going to be a way for us to fix you in a Chapter 13 in terms of your mortgage. Okay. So what I tell folks, and you'll see this in all my videos about foreclosure, is when you get the foreclosure notice, just call and let us do a consult so we can tell you, okay, if you file for bankruptcy, this is what you're going to be looking at. So okay, we're like plan B. Cool. That's fine. Doesn't hurt my feelings. I get it. I'd be the same way. So that way, at least and you're going to know, well in advance of when they're going to sell your house. At least okay, I'm going to try to do a loan mod. I'm going to try to talk to the lender. I'm going to try all this. So at least if none of this works out, I know I can call the bankruptcy attorney that I met with. I know I can call him and say, you know what? We got to pull the trigger. I need to save my home. So you can do that. I really hope what I've done actually is I've created a checklist. If you look in the description on this video, I've got a link to it on our site. So I've got a free checklist for what to do if you're facing a foreclosure here in Georgia. I'm queen of checklists. I love checklists, and it helps me focus. And I know if you're looking at something like this, you've got things coming in from all over the place. So anyway, if you get a chance, if this video does pertain to you, take a look at that checklist. If you ever have a question about it, even sometimes folks will call me and say, I'm thinking about working with this company. Have you ever heard of them? Has your firm seen anything bad, good, whatnot? And we're always happy to tell you, because, we have literally filed thousands and thousands of bankruptcy cases to stop foreclosures specifically. So this is something that we do every day. And I'm going to tell you, 2022 looks like it's going to be really rough. So we're seeing, like I said, we're just seeing lenders, everything's cranking back. Lawsuits are coming back. Repossessions are coming back. Foreclosures are coming back. So, they said, okay, everybody's had time, and you either got it, got everything taken care of, or you didn't. And now the other shoe is going to drop. So I do think we're going to see a huge uptick in foreclosures. I don't think it's going to be like 2008 and 2009. It's different circumstances, but it's going to increase, and there's going to be a lot out there. And you really, 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 if you want to save your home, just make sure that you're looking at all options, and don't let fear make you go into a bad decision. Especially, I see folks with some of these investor offers, and the person has like $150,000 of equity in their home, and they sign it over for and they get 20 grand. And I'm like, what? Why did you do that? So just if you do want to save your home and you don't want to just sell it for peanuts, give us a call, or you can go online. Our office makes it super easy to meet with an attorney. Most of the time you're going to meet with me. That I like to do pretty much all of the consults, new clients for my law firm. So If you want, schedule a free consult. It's super easy. You can do it online. You never have to talk to a person. I'm actually one of those people. I like to schedule everything online and not have to call an office. That's just me. But if you want to call the office, you can. I have really nice people that work here and they're happy to talk to you and schedule it. But if you don't, you can send an email or you can just book it straight online on my calendar, or you can call. But we are always happy to go over options. Our consultations are totally free. So we're happy to take a look at everything, tell you if you decide to take this step, this is what you're looking at. So at least you know you've got options. Thanks so much.